We're going to start checking out these cylinder heads today, or at least this one. I only really need to do, I'm doing both of them, but I really needed to demonstrate on one. So first off, I did clean the valves up, and I'm going to go ahead and get valves for it. It's got the stems are straight. They measure out fine as far as the thickness all the way down the stem there. Keeper grooves, they got a little bit of wear in them. Valve tips, actually good. But the face on this valve right here is dented pretty good. And the truth is, but it could be ground. Looks like it anyway. But by the time I take it to a machine shop, because I don't have a valve grinder to actually grind the valve with, that by the time I did that, I'm almost into the price of a new valve just to do, you know, I'd rather have new valves anyway, because these have a big step right here, right there, which normally when I had a grinder before, I'd actually grind that down smooth right there where it kind of catches. That's not conducive to real good flow right there. But so we'll be getting valves. But I wanted to go over checking the valve guides out as far as valve guide clearance, which is going to be whatever the spec is in your manual. It's going to be different for everything, slightly. So what we're going to have to do first is, you got carbon in the valve guides. So before you ever measure them, you need to clean the guides out. And I'm just using a bore brush here on the end of my drill to go in here. Just hit any carbon that's in there. You're not removing any material, you're just cleaning carbon out. And do both sides. Actually, this is for, I forget what this is for. This is out of a gun cleaning kit. Just stuck in the end of my drill there. So clean the guides out before you ever measure, because you'll have carbon. This thing had carbon all the way up to here on it, so that's in the valve guide. Then we're just going to spray those out a little bit. And if you got some pipe cleaners, you can run a pipe cleaner through there. I already did these once. I'm just demonstrating this right now. So basically what you're going to do next is measure the valve. Measure the valve stem. And these are actually 3.125. Thereabouts. This one's exhaust valve slightly bigger. That's like 3.128 maybe. So 3/10,000ths bigger. But you're going to measure that, write it down on your sheet. You just make out a sheet for each valve, for each port. So you're going to have one intake port, one exhaust port. And then what you're going to do is measure, and I already measured these previously. Take your gauge, and you're going to run it probably like 3 places down the valve, especially where it frosts. Because when your rocker arm's pushing down on the valve, it's tilting it too. So that's where it's going to wear. And in this case, it's wearing this way across the head. So you're going to measure it all the way around, but that's where it's going to be loosest at, is on that side of the guide, this axis right here. And you're going to measure that with your micrometer and write it down. If you got a gauge, that's even better. I don't have a gauge anymore as far as dial bore gauge that small. And measure it in 3 places: bottom, middle, top. Write that down. Then measure it sideways: bottom, middle, top. And what you're looking for is if the guide's concentric, in other words, how far out it is, because you're this way here, you aren't going to have as much wear than you are this way. And write that down, and you're going to average out the where it's biggest at. In this case, we actually ended up with 2 thousandths clearance on the intake and 2.5 thousandths clearance on the exhaust. And that was at the biggest spot. Now I am replacing these valves, so we'll have to check it again when I get new valves. I'm doing both the intake and the exhaust because they both have a little, I don't know how well you can see this or not. Let me see if I can show it to you. They've both got a little divot, like right here across the valve face, right there. Divots are bad. That's from the valve slapping the seat. So either over revving or weak valve springs. The exhaust is usually worse, and this one is definitely worse. And that's about all I could zoom it in there. I know you can see that right there. So you pull your valve out, clean it off. I just brush these off with a wire brush. Actually, on my wire wheel with a brass bristle wire wheel on there. But if you see that, that's bad. That's not going to seat really well or conduct heat out of the exhaust valve there. Now, what will happen if you got too much guide wear? Now, these heads here don't actually use valve seals at all. They're just straight up guides, no seals. And so you'll need to check them out there. And the old way of testing it, you've got this is the primary way I test it and then measure it later. So I put the guide in there and pull it out slightly out of the port and then give it a shake. That'll tell me what kind of play it's got. After doing so many heads, you can kind of figure out that, if it's slopping around, that thing's bad. And same with the exhaust valve. So basically, if you're not sure what it's supposed to feel like, measure it. You should measure it anyway, just so you know. So you see this exhaust has a little bit of shake to it, but it is well within spec. We're 2.5 thousandths basically clearance. How many millimeters that is, I don't know. I don't do millimeters like that. It's just easier for me to do standards, since all my measuring stuff is I don't even have metric micrometers or gauges. Everything's in standard English measurement, I guess you'd call it. But that's about that. So we are going to replace the valves. We're going to get springs. I didn't test these springs, but 42-year-old springs, and they're single springs at that. So I like good valve springs, just in case, And there is a measurement on these according to BMW, but they do like free length. They don't actually give you seat pressure or open pressure, really. They might, but I looked in my manual and it didn't really have it in there. So we'll be putting Kibble White springs in there, which is a double spring with a titanium upper collar. A little bit lighter spring there. Good pressure, and we'll do a valve job, of course, for the new valves because these seats are a little bit wide here, especially that exhaust valve. Intake seat's about the right width. That exhaust seat's a little bit wide right over here, and it needs to be thinned up. Plus, with the new valve, you don't know exactly. Let me see if I can show you this. You don't know where it's seating on the valve, and when I do a valve job, I'll do it. Typically, on the exhaust, I like to run the actual seat just about 40 thousandths off the edge of the valve right there, right off the margin. And for the intake valve, I actually like to run the seat all the way out to the very edge of the valve. Just flows better that way. So your seat would actually be up against the margin on the intake valve. Just works better. Exhaust valve, you need it in a little bit further, transfer heat and seal better. But really, that's about it. You know, and like I said, whatever your manual says, if it's supposed to be 1/1000ths for the intake and 2/1000ths for the exhaust, that's what it is. If it's supposed to be, 2/1000ths for the intake and 3/1000ths for the exhaust, that's what it should be as far as the valve to guide clearance. Important to longevity and to prevent smoking. What will happen on a exhaust valve, you got a lot of play on the exhaust valve, on the valve to stem clearance. So your exhaust valve will actually start moving around on the seat, depending on how much play you got in there. Just as an example, this is exaggerated because I got the valve just barely in the guide there. So imagine your valve doing this. Your valve's doing that. It's not going to hit the seat right. It's not going to seal right. And you're going to be sucking oil directly through the exhaust guide into the port there. And telltale sign on either valve seal came off, you got a bad valve stem seal, especially on the exhaust, or bad valve guide, is when you're getting on down the road. And when it's really bad, you can see it in the daytime, but most of the time, most of them don't get that bad. Where somebody will be behind your bike at night, and when you chop the throttle, it'll actually suck oil down through the port there. Then this could be either the intake or the exhaust doing it, but usually the exhaust. And sucking oil through there, and that telltale sign of a guide wear is when you chop the throttle and it smokes on decel with the throttle closed. I mean, just a little bit, like puh, 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 puh. And you see every time it's coming down, it'll huff a little smoke out the exhaust there. So that's not necessarily a compression problem, like a ring going bad, like everybody thinks, oh, it's rings. Now, another scenario, too, is on, you have this exhaust guide that's got too much play in it. You can actually, it's got so much play in there, it'll actually blow spent gases up through the guide into the engine, creating a little more blow-by. You're basically pressurizing the crankcase, just like you would if you had bad rings. Bad ring seal, you're pressurizing your crankcases, and it's sucking oil somewhere or blowing air somewhere. And really, that's about it. So, check those out. And I've already ordered my rings and gasket kit, piston pin clips, and some new keepers. Since I've really looked at these keepers and the tips of the valves, and they do have a little bit of wear to them, a little bit of sharpness on the keeper grooves. And I'm not a big fan of these triple rounded keepers. I like a nice square keeper. Show you what I mean here, if you can see it or not. It's got these little rounded grooves in there. And if you look on the face here, you can see where the keeper's been moving around some, like rubbing it up against the other keeper. And it just goes in the tip of this valve like this. You want to feel it for any excess wear in there. So I'm not a fan of these like this. I like a nice square, normal old-fashioned keeper. I don't think anybody likes these things here. But unfortunately, I can't change the new valves that I get, which are from Kibble-Lite, which are a nitrided valve. So I won't actually have to coat those because they're already coated. They come with these type of tips because why make square ones when everybody else is using the little goofy rounded keepers in there. But just to reiterate, check your valve guide clearance, and next up we'll be checking the rocker arms out, the rocker arm tips, and the rocker arm shafts versus the housing there to see what kind of play we got in the rocker arms. And we'll check out the push rods too. And already checked the tappets. Tappets look great. Cam look good. No appreciable wear on the cam or the tappets at all. What you tend to kind of worry about when this thing had worn out rings in it, and it'd been blowing gas through the engine for God knows how long. Because, like I said, when I got it, it was running on one cylinder. And put a spark plug cap on there, and then it was running on 2 cylinders. But I don't know how long it got rotated around like that because the odometer was screwed up, and you're buying a bike cheap. You got questions, but basically the guy isn't really going to know. He's just trying to get rid of it. I mean, you can feel him out about stuff, but only so much. But it is what it is. You buy something that's 40 years old. 40 years old when I got it. And I wasn't even going to keep this bike. I was going to get rid of it, but just to get rid of it because I didn't feel like messing with it. But decided on keeping it, and now we're going through it and doing basically a top end rebuild and whatever else it needs on here, making it a little more rider friendly for me because I really didn't like it as an RT. So we took everything off of it pretty much, changed the bars, took the fairing off, all that. Just going through it and sprucing it up a little bit, making it rideable for me the way I like it or the way I wanted it. But that's really it for this. We're on along here anyway, so hope everybody has a damn fine Labor Day weekend. Get out there, have some fun. Not too much fun, but have fun. You know what I mean? Stay out of trouble. Don't be doing crazy stuff that you did when you were 20 or 18 or 20 or 24, 25, whatever. Maybe you're one of those guys that does crazy stuff all the time. Or girls. Can't forget the ladies. A lot of ladies ride now. But that's all I got. You guys take care. Have a great weekend. Thanks for the comments, likes, shares, all that stuff. Really appreciate it. Ride safely, you guys, and not too safely, but watch out for people pulling out in front of you and dogs and deer or whatever else.